All right, everybody, here with the MMA homies, Red Wolf MMA and MMAFoo. Red Wolf is actually on location in London. What's up, fool?
What's happening? Yes, man. Been here in London since yesterday. Media day today with the Against the Fence boys. Shout out to them fellas. And yeah, meeting and greeting and chatting to a few of the fighters. Some very
Yeah,
interesting developments, interesting insights.
that's pretty cool, man, that you even get to have that experience. I saw some pictures up on Twitter with some of the dope fighters, some of the local fighters on there,
Yeah.
Leon Edwards, Shauna Bannon, some of the homies too.
Oh yeah.
Out to the homies in England. Um, what have you been up to, fool?
Chilling, man. Just got that interview yesterday with Giannis, and
Hell yeah. I checked that
cool guy,
out.
man. It's dope when you get to interview like fighters that you actually like, not actually like, but like you're a fan of, you know. And
Yeah,
like
I'm a
it's try
big fan of
like
Giannis.
even I told him I was like I try to be professional most of the time, but I mean I gotta tell you like you're one of my favorite fighters, you know, ever since you started. And
Giannis
but
is
yeah, I mean everything's good. I'm excited for this card, man. I actually did a little bit of studying this time, so I'm excited. Shout out the homie Red Wolf, man, up out in the trenches, you know, gets to enjoy that. Every time any of us can go to an event, it's like we're all there. So yeah, man, let's get it.
Yeah.
And
You're all
thanks.
here in spirit, trust me, and I've been drinking a lot of spirits for you. So you're all here with me.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah,
but
bro.
yeah, happy to be here, Vaughn. Let's see what we can get right this week. You know, we did pretty good last week.
We did all right. We did pretty good. I mean, these are fights and they're difficult to call. Sometimes we have to make adjustments to what we do for our picks. But ooh, there's a jet flying over my house. There's gonna be an air show tomorrow, and I live across the street from the base, so I'm gonna get free tickets basically to watch this dope air show. But the
Uh,
first fight we got is Guram Kutatelidze or Kutatelidze versus Cowie Fernandez. Um, at the opening, Kutatelidze was a minus 425, Cowie at 330. Um, who you got here, Wolf?
So I don't know much about Fernandez. I'm not going to bullshit anyone. But Guram, he surprises me. He's very, very good. That last fight, I think, against Jordan Jusenik, well, it was a war. And we'll get on to Jordan in a bit later on. But that was a great, great, great fight. And I think it's going to go very similar to that. May see a finish coming from Guram. I do know that this has probably already been talked about on socials, but a certain Ilya Topuria landed in London not long ago and is going to be in the corner. So that's if when you've got someone like Ilya in your corner, you're probably doing pretty well. You know what I mean?
That is pretty awesome,
oh yeah,
man. And I know that Ilya was announcing a new change of identity coming up soon, so that's going to be interesting
Yeah,
on
yeah.
social media. Who you got, fool?
yeah. I'm gonna have to go with. It was hard, you know. I was leaning towards Fernandez, but I was looking up how Goram. He's a this. I think he gets a decision here, man. He's a grinder, you know. I feel like if it goes to the judges, and he likes fighting over there, so and
Yeah.
like you said, Ilya's in his corner, so that already adds more to the. And it's the starting match, you know. It's the first fight of the night, and it's England, so you know it's gonna be fireworks. You got to set the bar for the rest of the night. And I feel like Goram's gonna bring the war. He's gonna bring the war.
I agree. I like Guram too. I'm picking him, probably by decision, although he could get a finish. I was hearing things that Cowie was dealing with some sort of shoulder injury at camp.
Mm.
And even though he's saying that he's fully healed, he could have some issues, maybe in the wrestling grappling department. And you know that Guram is heavy into the wrestling department. Cowie is a Taekwondo specialist. So you're going to see a lot of kicks, especially if his shoulder's messed up. You're going to see a lot of kicking attacks from Cowie. And I think that's going to sort of expose him to get taken down as well. And Guram's going to probably have a lot of control time. I also like Guram's strength of schedule. He's fought and beat Gamrot. Uh, he's fought, lost Elvis Brenner, beat Vucenic. So his strength of schedule is better. His experience is going to, I think. he's going to lean on his experience, and he's going
Didn't
to
have any.
get the decision victory on this one.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
like
that
say,
percentage victory, uh, it aged
Yeah,
very well.
it does, and that was I mean, it was a key to uh, Guram's cardio in that fight, I think, where Vucenic was coming out pretty strong in that first round, and then Guram was able to take him sort of into deep waters and drown him, and then sort of take over the fight. It was a very entertaining round. Opened my eyes to Vucenic too, but again, yeah, we'll get to him in a little bit because next we got Nathan Fletcher, another England boy, versus Cowlin Loughran, an Irish fighter. This one, I started going back and forth, but I feel like Nathan Fletcher's not just his wrestling acumen, but his submission ability is going to be the edge in this fight. I know that Cowlin likes to wrestle. He likes to box primarily, but when that isn't going all that great, or if he's got his opponent backing up, he likes to engage in the wrestling, but he's doesn't really go for any submissions. It's just a lot of control. And I think if he does that with Fletcher, Fletcher's going to be able to reverse it and try to sink some sort of submission. Either way, I feel like Nathan Fletcher is more dangerous and probably going to be able to get the win um, via, oh man, I'd probably say decision. He could finish by submission though. This whole fight actually could be like a
it's a tough
Fletcher
road.
KO or a Fletcher submission.
Yeah,
I'm leaning towards Fletcher and I'm picking Fletcher, but I think it could be a finish regardless in this fight.
yeah. It's so I had the pleasure today of chatting with Mike Grundy. If you remember, Mike, he was in the UFC for a while. He fights out of Wigan, which is not too far from Salford, where I am. Trains with Aspinall a few times. He's in Cowan's corner tonight, tomorrow, not Saturday night, sorry. So we're chatting to him about the game plan, about how things were going to go. He seems confident, and I've seen Cowan a few times today, and he looks I don't pretty happy, if you know what I mean. He's a lot happier than he looked in Manchester for 304. So I don't know whether this is a I know something you guys don't type of thing or what. Plus, this is a rematch from the amateur Cage Warrior Academy days where Fletcher won by decision back then, and that was going back a few years. Um, and both guys, and me and Mike Grundy agreed on this. Both guys have improved a lot since then. Do you know what I mean? Since the end of the professional league. So yeah, this is like you say, Von. This could be a Fletcher sub. It could be a Cowan decision. I'm. It's tough for me because, like I say, Fletcher's from England, and I've got Irish heritage as well. So I've got an internal war right now. Do you know what I mean? Let me tell you. Um, I might call the fifth on. I might plead the fifth on this one, but
You
but
can't plead fifth.
I, but yeah, I'm slightly leaning towards Calvin, maybe by decision. But again, wouldn't be surprised if Fletcher did it again. Do you know what I mean? It's a tough one. What about you, Fu?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to rock with Nathan Fletcher. And there's a lot of Cage Warrior fighters on this card. It's crazy. And
Yeah,
the Cage Warriors card this weekend is gonna be good too, man.
Yeah, bro, they're
Uh,
showing out.
we got a lot of fighting events. But yeah, I'm rocking Nathan Fletcher decision or sub too. And if I was to pick the sub, I think he'll get him in a triangle.
yeah,
Be pretty
yeah.
interesting. I think these exchanges are going to be pretty crazy once it gets to the wrestling grappling
Yeah, I feel
exchanges.
like Nathan can finish him off this time around. But if you're not, it can go decision. I was like, it was hard fight to pick, but once I made it my decision, I kind of knew how it would end. Once I picked the
Yeah.
fighter.
Yeah, once I settled in on the fighter and watched some tape and felt like whose cardio and whose like internal dog can kick in, and then you got the home crowd advantage. and really for me, any little advantage helps right now. And the times that these guys are fighting in London is peak time for them, unlike the
Yeah.
last London card where it was like 3, 4 in the morning when they were fighting and everyone was washed out and tired. So yeah, I like that. So we got 2 Fletchers and 1 Lauren.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll see how that
we
goes.
got we got the females. Shauna Bannon taking on India's Pooja Tomar. Man, it's hard to get excited for this fight, tell you the truth.
Right.
But
I'm actually
Shauna's,
excited for this one. Low
are you?
key. Yeah,
What
this
what
is
what excites you about
it's a
this
good
fight?
just the odds. Like Pooja being an underdog and like the fact that this can go to a decision and like I feel like they're trying to make her a star and she
Tell
got
me
one
more.
last time. I feel like if it goes to a decision, she can win it. I think it's gonna be a fun like they're both gonna be strikers like throwing kicks. That's all they're well known for. So it'll be like a karate match, something like that. It's fun. Let's see if it'll be a points match. I feel they're just gonna kind of like whatever one throws, the other one's probably gonna repeat the same shit, and it'll go like that all the way. Unless Shauna can like get a finish because the UK crowd, like I said, that's the sixth man or the 12th man. I don't know whatever sport you play, but there's one in each. There's basketball or footy or American football. There's always that extra. The fans always bring that extra vibe. Shout out to the Apex. But yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna go with if I was a gambling man, which I'm not, I would go with Pooja Tamar to get the decision victory and continue her path to stardom and probably bringing the UFC to India.
I like that outlook. But like you say, I'm gonna have to root with my girl Shauna for this one. Like you say, I think it's gonna be like karate, taekwondo, kickboxing. Shauna's kickboxing, I think, is quite underrated. And you saw that in the last fight against Aladdin, she was keeping her away with the push kicks, the teep kicks, and what also a lot of people may not have noticed is that she's got submissions. And she can wrap her legs. I mean, she threw up a triangle against Aladdin, which was close.
She has submission attempts.
Well, yeah, okay. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. She might not lock him in, but she threatens with him. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, yeah, Buja. Like you say, yeah, she could outpoint Shauna. But I think if this goes to a decision, I think maybe more than likely it goes to a Shauna decision. I'm rooting for Shauna. I saw her today. Told you guys about it, and she looks chill. She looks very relaxed. She looks very locked in. At 304, she seemed more. I don't want to say stressed, but she knew it was a big fight for her. She knew she had to win that one. With this one, maybe the pressure's off a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Shauna decision for this one.
Shauna, and we got Tomar. I was looking at this fight and I felt like when I first saw this fight, I immediately knew who I wanted to pick, simply because of my sentiments of the other fighter. And, I did my fight prediction. It picked the more UFC experienced fighter, as it ought to, because that's how I have it programmed for. But when I did the Monte Carlo sims on this, it was 50-50, right? Bannon wins 50% of the time, 35% by knockout. Tomar wins 50% of the time, 40% by decision. And so I had a default to watching some film on this fight to see who I wanted to pick. And the film basically confirmed my pick. It's going to be the dog of the week, Pooja Tomar. She's going to take it away. I mean, Shauna Bannon has 0 wins by submission. 33% of her wins are coming by KO. So she's not a threat. This is going to be exactly what Fu said. It's going to be a point fight. And I think that Pooja has the more violent moments. I think she's she's a striker that seeks, I don't want to say knockouts, but seeks a finish or seeks a bigger, finishing type moment, whereas Bannon likes to basically point strike, and she gets herself caught in positions where she leaves herself really open to violent counter strikes if the right fighter was in front of her. They've been feeding her, these lightweights, but I think Puja is going to really bring the same kind of poison that Shauna brings. And I really do like the way that Tomar uses her sidekicks to keep her opponents away. And it's going to frustrate Bannon, and Bannon's, teep kicks. I mean, all her kicks really aren't that great. All her strikes, her fist strikes are horrible. The way she sets everything up, she telegraphs her strikes. I don't think there's going to be a finish in this fight. This is certainly going to go to decision. And if that's the case, 40% of it, goes Puja's way. A lot of it, too, if you look at cardio issues, Shauna's faded in that third round, end of the second round, third round, she starts to fade. And if Puja can make a statement in the first, take control in the second, and dominate in the third, she's certainly going to win on points. So there's not a lot of dogs to pick on this card. And the dog that I originally wanted became a favorite pretty quick. So I'm going to roll with Puja as my dog of the week.
Oh, yeah, this is turning into a 2-against-1 kind of episode, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? We're going to have to agree sometime.
I think we're all going to agree on the next one.
I'll eventually start picking the English.
I hope we all
up,
agree on the next one.
Oh yeah. Next up we got Christian Leroy Duncan versus Andre Puliev. Puliev, I believe he's making his UFC debut on this.
Yeah, coming off the Contender Series.
Yeah, he's making his UFC debut, and Christian Leroy is coming off a unanimous decision loss to Gregory Rodriguez. I'm taking Christian Leroy Duncan. I know the stats, the punching stats and strike accuracy and all that crap is tilted Puliev's way, and I know that this is data bias from the fact that it's all taken from his first Contender Series fight and not a compilation of all his fights. So on paper, it looks like he might be a better fighter, but in reality, this is going to be Chris Leroy Duncan's magnus opus. He's going to fuck Puliev up.
We finally agree. yeah, I totally agree, man. CLD, to lose to someone like RoboCop, there's no shame in that. Do you know what I mean? Like, RoboCop's an absolute beast. He's an animal when he's in the cage. And I thought back then that was going to be a close fight, and it wasn't very close, but it was closer than some. Do you know what I mean? I think again these guys, like Christian Leroy Duncan's not more experienced than Puliev. They're about roughly the same amount of fights between them, but he seems more dominant. Do you know what I mean? Especially in the striking exchanges.
The caliber of opponents are better too. I mean, he's fought Armen Petrosian, Dusko Todorovic, Dennis Tululin, Claudio Ribeiro.
Yeah. And like I say, Gregory Rodriguez, if that was your last fight, you've learned a lot in that fight. There's no such thing as losses. There's only lessons. And I think that's a good one. I think I'm looking at Foo and I'm thinking this is going to be a three-peat. We're all agreeing on this one.
We gotta be.
Yeah, I gotta rock with Christian Lee. I think we get the first KO of the night here. So
yeah, possibly.
I see a finisher in the KO or TKO.
Yeah.
This wasn't a hard pick for me at all. This was probably the easiest pick for me on the card.
One of the easiest for me. One of the easiest.
Yeah, it wasn't hard, especially once you start watching a little bit of film. It becomes blatantly obvious who the winner is. Next fight, it's a pretty exciting fight too. I think, and the nice thing about this card is that it starts to build. We're starting to see some more excitement here. And we got Mick Parkin, another Brit, facing Marcin Tybura. For some weird reason, Tabura's always opening up as the favorite. I mean, he's the higher ranked fighter in this case. But man, are they not giving Mick Parkin, his props.
Mm. Is he still is Tybura? I've not looked recently, but is Tybura still the favorite?
Not anymore.
There we go. There we go. That's more like it. That's
Yeah, since at least yesterday, probably the day before yesterday, Parkin
yeah,
was already the betting favorite, uh, and I think that's increasing as we speak.
yeah. I'm glad about that because this is a huge fight. You know, this is one of the fights that me and the boys and people I've been speaking to today. This is one of the main fights we've been talking about. The one that we are very excited for. It's huge for Mick Parkin. You know, this could catapult him into the top 10 with a win, and I think it's going to be a dominant win. You know, Mick trains with Aspinall all day, every day. You know, coming out of that area, coming out of Aspinall BJJ and training with the big boys, you know, you're a killer. Mick was already a killer, and he's just got a load more ammunition behind him. The other thing is as well is Tom Aspinall already fought and destroyed Tybura. No disrespect, but he did. So you know Tom's going to be teaching or telling Mick a few things what to look out for. You know, this might be my first lock, and I hope I get this right because I'm never going to hear the end of it. But I'm saying Mick Parkin knocks him out in the first round.
Yeah, yo.
First round.
Yeah. First round.
That's
Let's
a pretty
go.
stiff call out first round.
I
If I know
like
I'm not
it.
slightly biased, I'm very biased. So
Hey, in the UK, bro, I can see that happening for sure.
yeah.
Anything's possible, man. I'm telling you.
What about you, fool? Who you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna rock with Mick Parkin, man. I'm on the hype, you know. I know that
Big Mick.
there's this little thing going around called the undefeated record fighters losing their O, but I don't think Mick is he's on that train. I feel like he can get the finish. Honestly, I thought it would go decision, but like the more I start thinking about it and the time change of the card, man, once if there's a knockout before the crowd's gonna be absolutely bonkers already, and he's gonna follow the Chris Lee Duncan, which will probably be a KO. It's just gonna be bananas. I see the KO, but mm, probably second round.
Second round. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm rocking Mick Parkin.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Tybura is durable though.
Yeah.
You know, he's a vet. He's durable. He knows how to grapple. Um, the last time, you know, the last person that KO'd him was Aspinall. So, I mean, does Mick Parkin do it? I don't know. You know, I know he wins. I don't know if he does it by KO. Um, you know, I can see him dominating the striking, pushing Tybura back, Tybura trying to shoot, Mick reversing, controlling, striking, and wearing, marching down. If anything, will be like a third round finish, TKO, some ground and pound, because Tybura is just be spent from all the exchanges. But if his durability can hold up, you know, then I could see him getting Parkin getting a decision. You know, Denise, he had no ground game, and that was the problem, right? Didn't he lose by like a TKO or something like that?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, once Tybura got him on the ground, he was like a fish out of water, and that's not going to be the case with Mick Parkin. So
No, I was
Mick
just
Parkin's
going to say,
actually, yeah, Mick Parkin's pretty dangerous on the ground. So
yeah, and he's
yeah,
got
I
better.
got Parkin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so he's got better training with Tom. You know what I mean, mixing up because the grappling and the striking. Do you know what I mean? So he already had the striking. Now he's got the grappling. So yeah, I think Tybura is going to try and take him down, like you said, Von. You know, Mick's going to reverse him, maybe getting him into a ground and pound position himself. So I'm going round 1 KO. Foo's going to round 2 KO. Von's going round 3 KO. So it's we're covered. We've covered all bases.
Watch it be a submission.
Oh, shut up, man.
Hey, I can see that happening. I can see him breaking him down and submitting him.
I could too, you know, but the easier path obviously is the KO.
Yeah.
Next fight, I am super excited for. I think this got fight of the night potential written all over it. It's going to be a banger for sure. People are going to get to see who Lon'er Kavanaugh is. We already know who Felipe Dos Santos is. Dude's an awesome fighter. He's a hell of an entertaining fighter. Um, he's got skills, obviously. But Lon'er Kavanaugh, this kid is, open up as a minus 410 favorite for a reason. And, I believe the hype. I think he's going to get it done. I think he's going to KO Felipe Dos Santos. Um, and I think he does that because Dos Santos puts himself in compromising situations with how reckless of a striker he is. He's like an all or nothing kind of fighter. And Lon'er is just such an excellent counter striker that he's going to, I think, just piece up Dos Santos and take opportunity, bust him up. I think we're going to see blood in this one, and it's going to be like a TKO, doctor stoppage, or ref coming in having pity on Dos Santos.
Yeah, I think this is a massive fight for Longy. Massive fight. Do you know what I mean? Again, he's undefeated, but I think if Mick Parkin breaks the undefeated curse, then Longy's going to break it as well. But Dos Santos is dangerous, and this is a massive, like I say, a dangerous fight for Longy. Massive fight for Longy. I think he's going to mix the grappling in there. He's going to keep him. I mean, he's the shorter fighter as well. I've noticed. Longy is quite a couple of inches shorter, I think. So he's gonna shoot. He's gonna push against the fence. He's gonna when coming out of the clinch, throw the elbows, throw the jabs. But yeah, this is, like you said, this could be a very, very violent fight. And Longy's gonna be proving himself here. Sure. I mean, the last fight in Macau was fucking brilliant. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I've got high hopes for this one. Like you said, this card's just getting better and better and better and better the more you go up the ranks. You know what I mean? What about you, Fu? What are you thinking?
Yeah, it was Felipe is a seasoned guy. The people he's lost to are some warriors. So I'm still gonna go with Lon'er, man. I'm also
Yeah.
on the Lon'er train. No emo. But yeah, I think he wins by decision because Felipe, he's been in there in the deep waters. So
Yeah.
his fight was with Lima too, and then he lost to Manel Cape, got fight of the night. So I don't think it gets KO'd. I think it's gonna go to decision. It's gonna be a war either way. I think just Lon'er's gonna bring more pressure, at the end of the night.
Yeah, that's what I will add on to it. Like, I do think it goes to the very end of the third, or we hear the bell. Do you know what I mean? I do think, like you say, Dos Santos is tough, durable, been in there with some, like you say, absolute fucking warriors. So
Does
long
it
as
get
gonna
a,
have to win.
does the fight get a performance bonus?
Ooh,
Like a
I mean
full on
that's not
fight of the
been.
night bonus?
I've maybe,
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah.
but
It's
yeah,
it's up there. It's up there.
I think there's a few others
Candidate?
that are
I
candidates. Yeah,
I really like the Nathaniel Wood fight too, and the Morgan kid. I think that's gonna be a
Yeah,
banger too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
that's
get to
gonna
that
be,
obviously.
and that one opens up the main card too. So that's a fucking way to open up a main card as well.
Yeah.
yeah,
The hometown boy Nathaniel Wood versus the French up and comer Morgan Charrier.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And
but
also
before,
to
go
add on
ahead.
to Loner, man, if he beats Felipe by decisively, like where like, oh wow, like he whooped his ass. He either knocks him out or just beats his ass for like 3 straight rounds. And watch out for him. He's
Oh,
coming for a belt for sure because you're not just beating anybody, bro. They're giving you a
That's a
dog. They're
big
giving you a
name.
test. It's a speed title run, what I like to
yeah,
call it, because who else does he get after that?
Yeah, you got to give him a ranked opponent.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know if you have to, but you should.
they
yeah.
should do. They should do.
Yeah.
Depending on the performance, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
depending on the performance. So the prelim, what do I want to say? The
featured
featured
prelim.
prelim. Yeah, the featured prelim of the night. You got Jay Herbert versus Chris Padilla, and this is truly a coin toss, 50-50 fight for me. I was going back and forth in my head. I finally picked today who I decided like who I was gonna pick, and I was leaning one person for like 3 days, and then one the other day, and then flip flop. But today I finally decided who. But I want to know who Fool got first.
Yeah, because I'm interested as well. He's doing the rubbing hands. He's
Yeah,
getting.
he's got his calisthenics going on and shit.
This is my lock of the week, guys.
Oh,
I got Chris Padilla, man.
Mhm.
Chris
Hell
Padilla,
yeah.
Taco
I knew that was coming.
by KO or TKO, man. This fight does
Nice.
not see the final bell.
Nice.
I think he
I
finishes
love
with
that.
strikes.
I love that. What about you, Fool? Or Wolf, sorry.
I had a feeling Fu was going there, and to be honest, like, listen, Jai's my, he's a countryman. This is they've put him against another killer, and Jai, I don't want to say his chin's gone, but you know what I mean. But if you look at the the Bodea fight, his last fight, he mixed in the grappling quite well. He was in and out, trying shooting the takedowns, and I feel like that's what he's going to have to do to try and win this. I think this is going to be a really, really, really tough fight for him to win. He could surprise us. He could show that he's made a lot of improvements. Which, as a Brit, I hope so. But yeah, I feel like, Padilla could get this done. Again, I saw him today, chilled, very relaxed. He's got a certain, I don't like using this word too much, but he has got an aura around him, and I'll use that word again with another fighter we're going to talk about because, yeah. But yeah, so, yeah, maybe Chris Padilla gets it done. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said I was going back and forth. I had Jay Herbert for the longest, and I switched it because of like, sometimes you got to go with your gut feeling. And I feel like Chris Padilla is the fucking dog. Like the definition of a dog. Like when we think of a dog and we think of oh God, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on his name. Trevor Peake, like dog fighters like that. And I see Chris Padilla like that. And yeah, he doesn't have the experience Herbert has, but what has Herbert really done? He lost to ZM. ZM's a good fighter. He drew to Klein. That's not too
Yeah.
bad. He beat Kyle Nelson. Okay. He knocked down Ilya Tapora, but then he ends up losing to Tapora by KO. So, I see Padilla as the up and coming lion here. And yeah, I'm rocking with Padilla as well. And I think he's going to get it done by KO. Also, maybe round 2, round 3 after Herbert's tired out. I think he's going to go pretty hard the first round, try to get Padilla out. He's going to figure out Padilla's really durable and not going to be able to get him out. And then maybe try to wrestle the second round, figure out Padilla out wrestled him and got the better of him, and then just be spent. And I think Padilla is gonna, close out the show finally at round 3, and to the dismay of the English fans there. But but yeah, I got Padilla by KO round 3 on this one.
Yeah. I mean, like, I just want to say as well, these prelims are stats. I mean, there's a few that I would have moved around. Do you know what I mean? Mick Parkin versus Ty Bora could be on the main card easily. But then it's who do you take off the main card?
Yeah,
It could have been, it could have been the featured prelim, but then, like you say, the way that this fight could go would be a massive boom, explosion to enter the main card. Do you know what I mean? So we talk shit sometimes, don't we, about the way the UFC put the cards together, and we think, why is that there? That should be down there, and this should be up here. But it works. It works. Do you know what I mean? There's no two ways about it. And like you boys have said, this card builds from the bottom. We start at the foundations, we put the cement in brick by brick by brick, and by the time you get into the main card, and like we said, Nathaniel Wood versus Morgan Sharif, that's one hell of a way to open a main card, and it's going to be fireworks.
UFC knows what they're doing. This is the O2 Arena, and they know what they're getting when they go to the O2. They know the type of crowd London crowd is, and so they know how to give them a performance. And it's stacked with a lot of London fighters. Win or lose, it's going to be entertaining. Yeah, so we're going to break down the main event in a part 2 video. We're going to put that out. Shout out to the homie. Shout out to Red Wolf being out in London. Shout out to MMAFoo being out in LA. Kicking it over here, rooting for Arizona Wildcats. March Madness, baby.
Yeah, we need a Cinderella too. Give us another Cinderella, man.
Yeah, fuck them.
But yeah, so we're excited, man. Got my tea and biscuits ready.
Yeah,
all right, fellas.
All right, boys.
See you for round 2.